Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Wednesday, the 20th of December. I'm right in thinking. I've lost track of these incidentally. But yeah, this is the Rangers Review. I'm just going live on Instagram there, folks. My attention was elsewhere, but I'm delighted to say we're joined for the first time this week by Stevie Clifford. How's it going, Stevie?
Good, mate. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is well. It's Derek. It's a pretty rubbish morning, I'm not going to lie. And I left the jacket in the wife's car, so it was a soggy breakfast walk with the dog, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it's brilliant to have you on, Stevie. Of course, we'll look ahead to the game tonight. Plenty to talk about. Before we do that, folks, just a quick word for our podcast sponsors, the MPH Group. If you're looking for some home improvements this winter, or perhaps it's something you're thinking about down the line, then these are the guys to call. They also have a brilliant winter boiler promotion on just now. So if you're looking to replace your tired old boiler, then the MPH Group have got a fantastic deal on. They've got brilliant flexible finance options, as well as a parts and labour guarantee as well. The all-important links are in the description below. Right, before we talk about the game tonight, Stevie, the news yesterday that broke, if you didn't catch up with myself and Chris on yesterday, folks, yesterday afternoon, we discussed the news that there will be no Rangers fans at Parkhead for the upcoming Old Firm clash on the 30th of December. Rangers released a statement yesterday. I'll quickly run through it again for those of you who didn't watch the show yesterday with myself and Chris. It said that the subcommittee agreed with Rangers, let's say the SPFL subcommittee, incidentally, agreed with Rangers that Celtic FC's stance of providing 0 tickets to Rangers fans was unreasonable. Despite the fact that the subcommittee agreed with Rangers, the subcommittee was unwilling to determine what reasonable number of tickets for the fixture would be. The subcommittee was unable to determine this reasonable number due to the fact that the other party had not submitted enough evidence on this issue, despite having ample opportunity to do so in the weeks and months leading up to the hearing. Rangers' position has always been clear. We want away fans from all clubs at our stadium and wish for that to be reciprocated when we travel to other clubs' grounds. The decision calls into question the effectiveness and highlights the procedural defects of SPFL Rule I-27. To Rangers, it is grossly unfair that if a club, in this case Celtic, fails to submit sufficient evidence as part of such proceedings, it effectively ties the hands of a subcommittee in being able to determine what a reasonable number of tickets should be, especially when the subcommittee agrees that the reasonable number cannot be 0. Conversely, if a club, in this case Rangers, complies fully and provides all necessary information in good faith, it can still be penalised. The club will consider its position before participating in any further SPFL-led hearings. Rangers, alongside several other SPFL clubs, also looks forward to the overdue findings of the ongoing protracted SPFL governance review. Rangers will be making no further comment at this time. Not a big surprise, I've got to say, Stevie, that news yesterday. How does this get resolved?
Well, first of all, it isn't a surprise, Derek. I don't think either of us, if you had asked me a couple of months ago when we did first discuss this, we both said that even if we did win the case, they wouldn't comply with it anyway. I think that it makes the governing bodies look pathetically weak. In all honesty, if you agree with a club and find in their favour, but then just go, do you know what? Can't really do anything about it. Quite embarrassing from a government body viewpoint. But, I mean, how does it get solved? I don't know, because the Celtic are basically trying to force Rangers into the old allocation. I'm of the position that no Rangers fan should be giving up their season ticket for any away support. But I would like to meet in the middle somewhere. I think surely a European kind of allocation could work and might work. If it suits our season ticket holders and things, I think that's maybe where we should be. But why should we be stuck in, the corner and restricted view and things when we visit there? So there's a lot of things to kind of go over. I must admit, I thought it was very rich for Celtic to be sitting saying the safety of our club and our fans are paramount because it's not safe at Ibrox yet. I've been to Parkhead and the missiles raining on you, And I've got no doubt this happens at Ibrox as well. It happens everywhere, but it's a bit rich for them to take the moral high ground and sit there when the videos of our trip to Parkhead, and there's a good 2-3 minutes of Rangers fans getting pelted with all sorts of stuff. So a bit of a hypocrisy there. But it's both sides, both sides are now entrenched in their position. It would be nice if they could get it resolved. It definitely does take away the derby. But you know what? In terms of next week, Derek, just go there and beat them. I think that's the simplest thing that we've got to do. And just go there. It would be nice if they could at some point sit together and sort it out, get the European allocation, 2,000-3,000 each. I think that would be a fair solution.
Yeah.
And kind of move on. But Derek, we've done this to death on here. Yeah. And my stance has changed somewhat from a couple of years ago. You would have asked me and I would have said, no, keep them out. I'm not interested, or give them the corner, but it does take away the kind of atmosphere and things like that. I think that's fair to say. So my stance has slightly changed, but I would go European kind of style if we could do that. I don't know the ins and outs of whether or not we could do it, but surely we can get something organised. But it's now, for me, it's now getting petty.
Yeah.
We can't guarantee their safety. They don't guarantee our safety. Blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. But it would be sweet, Derek, to go there next week and do the business. But we've got tonight and other games to worry about first.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, folks, if you'd like. I know there's a lot of people, certainly on social media, seen that would like a return. Well, I say a return, a European-style allocation, as Stevie mentioned there. I can't see how that is unworkable. I think it takes away from the spectacle. I know that Sky, as Chris mentioned yesterday as well, might be big sayers in the future of it as well. They're paying a lot of money for it's essentially 4 games a season between Rangers and Celtic, so they're going to want to have some sort of allocation back, I'd imagine. But how it gets resolved, who knows? Whether that happens for the final 2 league games of the season, it remains to be seen. But for this upcoming one at Parkhead, Rangers will be going there without any supporters inside the ground. So it's just something they're going to have to contend with. As you mentioned, Stevie, there is important games before that one coming up, starting off with tonight. Rangers taking on St Johnstone at Ibrox. On paper, you'd imagine Rangers will go out and defeat the Perth Saints. However, they've just changed their manager recently. Craig Levein is someone that is vastly experienced. He'll have his team well organised. He's already getting a tune out of them, fighting for their lives. I'd imagine they'll be making it tough for Rangers tonight, and it'll be up to Philip Clement's men to break them down, break down the low block, and find solutions to get in behind them. With that in mind, do you suspect any alterations from Sunday?
Not really, because we don't really have anybody, do we? So the squad is at bare bones. According to the manager yesterday, there's nobody coming back. Ryan Jack's 11 minutes of Scotland international duty will cost him right up until after the break. Cifuentes was limping on Sunday when I seen him at Hampden. Excuse me. So they were saying that it was long-term, but he's responding. Don't expect to see him before the break either. So it's not exactly an ideal solution or ideal situation, certainly. And we're relying on Tav, Goals and Lunny putting themselves through it again and again and again in these upcoming fixtures, and kind of relying on all the guys not to pick up any more knocks and not to get injured. So, it would be nice if we were in a position 60, 70 minutes where we could give Leon King some game time, maybe in midfield for John Lundstrom, and kind of swap it about a wee bit. But like you, Derek, St Johnstone have got a habit of making it really difficult at Ibrox. I've been at many games where they've scored first and made it, not what we expect it to be. But tonight, and the next 3-4 fixtures, or the next 3 fixtures certainly before we go there, we've got to make sure we pick up maximum points, because we have the momentum now. And, it's pretty unthinkable. If you'd told us a couple of months ago, Derek, we probably would have laughed. The pair of us saying, Sterling and Lundstrom in midfield would be sparking a Rangers revival in the league campaign. So we just need to go tonight and go Ibrox and get the job done. And, with as minimal fuss as possible, Derek, would be nice. Just get it put to bed and, play some football and stuff. And look, all credit, absolutely all credit to this squad and the management, because they really have turned up. We had a big game against Dundee, try and put some pressure on and win that before Celtic went to Kilmarnock. We done that. Then we went to Betis and we picked up an amazing result out there. And then we go to the League Cup final and we produced there as well after the exploits of Betis on Thursday night. And bear in mind how threadbare this squad is. Guys, just putting themselves through 90 minutes constantly. It's been remarkable. So, yeah, we can sit here and go, do we really want certain individuals playing or things like that? That's open for debate, as we always do over team selections and things. But the point is, Derek, these guys are always available, always making themselves available, always giving it their all. So tonight it's important we just get behind them and get the job done. There's 3 games, in this little 7-day period, where tonight St Johnstone, Motherwell, and then Ross County next week. And they're all fighting for their lives. These are all going to be difficult games, but on paper, you get those 9 points in the bag, and it sends a real message, because every game builds momentum. Every game, you're sending a little message, and they'll be expecting, almost like in the past, that we've slipped up when we've had these opportunities. So just go and keep doing it, keep producing. Doesn't always have to be sexy, extravagant football. Just get the results and try and get through, because it is, when you think about it, and I want to emphasise this again, like the run that the team have been on with this squad, the way it is quite remarkable, really. So they just need to keep doing it. And tonight's no different, Derek. It'll be as you said, it'll be a difficult game against a low block. They'll kick and foul, and they'll not want us to get into a rhythm, and we'll just need to make sure that we do. So make sure that there's no hangover from the momentum of Sunday as well, because Sunday was obviously a big one, historic that we got that done. So let's keep building.
Yes, myself and Chris have got our predicted teams on the website, folks. You can go and check them out. I'll bung on mine on the screen just now. You can rip me apart when I pop it up. But yeah, listen, I think as Stevie says, the manager is limited in the options that he has available to him. The changes I've made from Sunday. I'm starting Kemar Roof up top tonight, and also Ben Davies alongside Connor Goldson. Interesting, the manager was asked whether Kemar Roof is fit enough to start games. He said he's not ready to play 90 minutes, so then it's my choice to make if he starts or not. So it'll be him and Dessers from here until the January transfer window anyway. They both have to contribute, and I'm tipping Kemar to lead the line. Ben Davies not part of the side on Sunday, Stevie. If he's fit, though, I would be inclined to start him alongside Connor Goldson. Would you have any qualms about
that? I wouldn't start Kemar Roof tonight, Derek, and here's my logic behind it. If you wanted anybody to be playing at Fir Park and want a chance to fall to them, you would rather Kemar Roof started that game, I think, than St Johnstone at home, where I think possibly we're going to get more opportunities, and you would back Cyril Dessers to be up front for that, is my only logic and reasoning behind that. I think Scott Wright might be in for a chance of a start at some point as well, because Ross McCausland has played so many games, and the manager will be wanting to just make sure there's not a lot of pressure on him. I think that Ross has done really well. It's no slight on him at all. He's had some very good moments, but I think Scott Wright might feature. Ben Davies coming in. Look, Derek, we know where I am with Ben Davies, but in a game like tonight, he should be fairly comfortable. Should be. And I put the emphasis on the fact that St Johnstone, I don't expect them to come and attack. I think they'll sit in and try and hit on the break, play for set pieces and stuff. So Ben Davies should be comfortable enough in that position. Leon Balogun, if you think about having to go to Motherwell and then play at Parkhead, Ross County and things, I understand that completely. As I said, I would start Dessers tonight, Derek, and I would start Roof at Motherwell is most likely how I would go. 60 and 30 for both, and you can switch them around at the weekend. But where else would you change? Perhaps Sam Lammers will come in at some point and play some game time instead of Todd Cantwell. but I wouldn't be starting Lammers either. Lundstram and Sterling midfield. I mean, it fairly picks itself. Would Yilmaz get some game time at some point as well? You would expect Yilmaz to maybe pick up half an hour here and there, just because of the kind of position of the squad and rotating a wee bit. But as I said, you're relying on Tav, Goldson, Lunny, Sima putting themselves like through 90 minutes for these games and not getting injured. So maybe Rabbi Matondo comes in at some point, get half an hour tonight. Maybe, that's the kind of stuff we need to do, Derek. But I don't think we're in a position to really make wholesale changes from the start, that's for sure. Roof and Dessers, Davis, Balogun, whoever else, it's all kind of debatable. But we'll just need to manage the minutes over the next week or so, because it doesn't start like 5 games in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Before we stop. So it's certainly going to be a challenging schedule for the team, that's for sure. But I mean, it's either or, Derek. I don't think you'll be far away with your selection, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's a fair shout. A lot of comments coming in suggesting, like you say, Stevie, Scott Wright gets a shout. There's also a shout for Matondo as well. Brian Alvarez gets in touch. This might be the game for Sima centrally with Matondo and Wright on the flanks. I don't think we'll see Sima playing through the middle. I may be wrong in that one, but I think it will be either one of Serial Dessers or Kamar Roof this evening. Lots of comments coming in. I wanted to get to a few of them. Just this one sort of, Denzel with the point. Morning, Denzel. Dill may get a game at some points, perhaps. He was an unused sub on Sunday. Possibly from the bench tonight. We may see Kieran Dill, but I think we've discussed this before, Stevie. I think his time at Ibrox is coming to probably a premature end.
Well, you never know, because if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago if Dujon Sterling would be your new, powerful point midfielder, I would have laughed and said, stop being ridiculous. The same way as I've said to other people that have suggested Tav and Sima through the middle and all that's not a good shout. So I think it's naive to write off anything, but I would be extremely surprised if Kieran Dill is getting game time. If Kieran Dill has been fit for the last 3-4 weeks, which he has been, and he's been training pre-matches with and not in the squad, and a right back is playing in central midfield ahead of him, unfortunately, I think it kind of speaks volumes of where he is. However, you just can't write anything off, because, we're John Lundstram injury away from being in an absolute crisis where, I'm short of being on the bench at this stage. So it's pretty grim. And I think Kieran Dill probably might get some game time. I think that's a fair shout. But it's like everybody else. You maybe get 10, 15 minutes, in places. Leon King came on at home to Dundee before Kieran Dill, so I think that speaks volumes of what really is going on with Kieran Dill. I said, and I spoke about this a few weeks ago, and this is the issue I have with our squad. There's guys in our squad that are getting paid a lot of money that aren't contributing enough for what we're paying them. And it's no fault of their own. It's no criticism of them. But if we're paying somebody like Kieran Dill a lot of money, which we will be, and he's not even getting on at any points, and right backs are playing in midfield ahead of him and stuff, I would suggest that the balance of that is wrong, and we need to kind of establish what's going on with him come January, whether it's out on loan. Perhaps there's a championship manager, Derek, that's signed him in the past, who's just got a new job that might want to take, him and go from there. But I mean, I would be very surprised if his situation changes, but I think it would be wrong to rule it out. That's the best way I can sum that up.
Yeah. James with the point is being named on the bench. He was named on the bench on Sunday, James, but I think it speaks volumes that Dujon Sterling has been given the nod. I think that's a masterstroke by the manager as well, by the way, in seeing that he can do a job in midfield. I think he's a midfielder from here on in, Stevie. I think he might help out at fullback, but I think the likes of Ryan Jack, Jose Cifuentes, Nico Raskin, perhaps, do they have a fight on their hands getting that jersey off him?
Well, they should do, because if you're playing well enough, you keep the jersey. He's been an absolute powerhouse, Derek. And everybody will remember I said after Dundee I wasn't sure, and I watched it again. And was it more me because I felt uncomfortable that a right back was in midfield. Was I imagining issues in there? Did I feel uncomfortable more than he actually was? And I think that's probable. Because I watched it back, he did absolutely fine. He was great in Betis. Like, I thought he was absolutely tremendous for when he came on in Betis. And I thought he was like an unsung hero on Sunday. I said in the post-match that in the second half he was a bit quieter because the game became stretched and it became long as Aberdeen's monotonous. I watched that back, by the way, Derek, and they are not a good football team. One route straight into their two strikers. Every time Devlin at right back got it, long ball forward.
Yeah.
And you know, the amount of chances we created, all credit. I thought we actually had a really big second half. But Sterling is just, you know, he's like Calvin Bassey in midfield, just powerful, strong. And there was one where he was on the ground and there was two of them round him and he had it in between his feet and he got away and he got the free kick and he was just great and covered really well there for the second balls, which you have to be in Scotland as well a lot. And he was absolutely he was great. Man of the match on Sunday, Thomas, possibly. I thought Lonnie was great again on Sunday. I really did. Even watching it back, I thought he was terrific. And I think Lundstrom is back to being a 7 or an 8 out of 10 every week, incidentally. But in terms of Dujon Sterling, he absolutely does. Dujon Sterling's probably doing, Derek, and I don't mean this to be controversial or have a go, he's probably doing what I expect Nico Raskin to be doing when he's fit and playing to the capabilities and the standards that we hope he'll bring. So in long term, bear in mind James Tavernier's 32, long term, we may have found ourselves a solution at right back. But he needs to work on crossing and you know, kind of effectiveness. Maybe his future is shuffling about somewhere where he can not have to worry about that kind of side of his game. But I seen a thing a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure it was a manager or somebody said that his shooting is one of the best at the club when it comes to Sterling. His finishing is ridiculously good and he can strike a long ball. It might have been after the Dundee game where he hit the post in the last minute or two. I think that maybe come out. So if he's in midfield and he's doing that and he's capable of taking a shot or two, then let's try and get that as part of his game as well. And because a game like tonight where a low block and things like that, we might need somebody, you know, ball breaks, edge of box, somebody just to give it a wee scalp. So, now listen, he's done great. Absolutely done great. And he's really grown into it, I think, as well. And his attitude. And I'm glad that World's Greatest DJ says that about Sima as well. Sima is just a monster, you know, and you think about moving him from left back or left wing rather, is covering at left back in 87 minutes on Sunday, where Barisic is taken by the boy, I think Sheldon. Is it Sheldon, the winger? Something like that. Anyway, he's actually a good player, that boy. He's quite fast. And he leaves Barisic for dust, and Sima goes back, wins the ball and then gets fouled as he breaks away in the 87th minute. This was a guy that was out doing it in Betis as well on Thursday night and is back. So when we talk about moving Sima, I think we'd be giving up a lot of that as well because Matondo isn't as effective as that. You know, if we're looking to try something different, put Matondo through the middle. The manager spoke about that before, but don't move Sima when he's so effective and doing such a good job for the team. And understand it. So it's not, I think maybe the boys, Brian, it was that suggested it before. I understand why he might do that, but I'm not for moving Sima, Derek, when he's doing so well. But these boys have really shown great attitude. And listen, genuinely, 2 months ago I was sitting here after Cyprus, after Limassol, and slating this team, Derek. And the season was down the pan. Let's be absolutely honest. Clermont inherited a bin fire where they were down on their knees, no confidence, fitness was rotten, and we just weren't playing good. And in the space of 68, 69 days, whatever it is now, he's turned us into a team that's attitude is spot on, that are giving us absolutely everything. And that's all I asked for. Like, when we go to Betis, did I really expect us to win? No, but at 2 each at half time, I was absolutely delighted because of the manner of how we went about it. And yeah, look, there'll be individual mistakes and people might not always manage to nail their performance and stuff like that. But if you give me everything, that's all I want. And we're seeing that now, and I can relate to Rangers again. I'm watching my team and I'm enjoying it, and I can relate to what they're trying to do. and how they're performing, and that's all I want from it.
Yeah, he's worked wonders so far, the manager. There's no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. Colin Cooper says this is the game in the hand tonight, Derek. It is, Colin, so an opportunity to reduce the gap to 2 points. Incidentally, the manager was asked about this in his press conference yesterday about a big opportunity. How big an opportunity is it to cut the lead to 2 points? His response was great. He said it's the same opportunity as 1 week ago, as 9 weeks ago, as it will be in 9 weeks or 10 weeks. It's the same. It's all about 3 points. There is no difference in that. So it's one of the 38 games that you can get 3 points. We just want to keep a rhythm that we're having, and we want to be there again like we'll have to be at the weekend. We know in this marathon there will be one moment that it will not be the case, and you guys will be the first ones to say, oh, they've stopped now with the rhythm. It will not be the case with the mentality that's here now. We just continue with what we've been doing in the last weeks and go forward. Another impressive press conference from him, Stevie. We've spoke before about how he not only talks a good game, but he's delivering on the pitch as well. So hopefully it can continue tonight against the St Johnstone team. We'll be looking to make it difficult for Rangers. Some points coming in, Stevie, as well. I had a great interview with Scott Arfield recently on your blog. Scott says, great chat with Arfield, Stevie. And Maka says, morning, guys. Stevie, thanks for the Scott Arfield interview. It was brilliant. Keep up the good work. It was. Go and check it out, folks. It's always great to hear from Scott Arfield during his time at Rangers. Quite informative, and he still loves the club, even though he's away playing for Charlotte in the MLS now. But good interview, Stevie.
Yeah, actually, it's done incredibly well. It's hit, I think, 10,000 downloads, which is amazing numbers for the podcast. If you're looking to find it, it's available on all sites basically for the podcast, Spotify, Apple, and things. Just search Four Lads Bite Size Podcast. You'll find it available on YouTube and stuff like that. It was, you know what, Derek? Scott Arfield is a top man, like genuinely. To give up his time the way he did, to be at ease with somebody as much as I was with him, and he loved it. And as I said to you last week, his comments after it, he was with a mutual friend on Sunday as well, and he was telling them how much he loved it, how good the questions were, and how much he loved the interview, one of his best he's done, and things like that. And to have that feedback is incredible. So I'm glad that there's such love for him and for it. We are planning some other really huge interviews as well with some recent ex-players on Four Lads as well. So things are going quite well for the new podcast side of it. So it's been great, and I really appreciate everyone's feedback. It's genuinely been very, very, very good to have that, and it's such a privilege, Derek. Honestly, see, sitting with these guys and stuff like that, you know, we were laughing because I was saying to him, you know, doesn't feel like yesterday when he's belting that one in the semi-final and I'm running about my living room going like that, you know, at 30 odd years of age, like a big kid, you know. So it's surreal speaking to these guys. But no, I appreciate all the love and comments for that interview. Certainly, it was a lot of good fun.
Yeah, Colin Cooper says, get Beal on, Stevie. I think that's an interview that won't be for the near future anyway. And we'll just finish up. An interesting point that came in, Scott Glover. He says, Arfield on loan while the MLS season is done purely for cover in midfield, knows his score at Rangers. You take Scott Arfield back, Stevie, temporarily, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Would have done, but that time's passed. Scott's due to go back to the MLS in a couple of weeks. So if we wanted to do that, we would have had to have done it a few weeks ago. Excuse me. Would have done it. Yeah, absolutely. I think Scotty, and he would have got game time, that's for sure. And I think he probably would have contributed, Derek, no problem at all. But, you know, sometimes things are better left, you know, where they are. And that's no criticism or anything. I think it's maybe just one of those ones where could Scotty have done another year? I think he probably could have. But as he says in the podcast, it was his decision to move on. There was discussion surrounding it, but he wanted to try something new. So, listen, he gave us a great 5 seasons. If there was a possibility, if you said to me, take him back for the next 5 games, absolutely, you would have him in your squad, and he'd probably get 2 or 3 goals in that time as well. But as I said, some things are just better left where they are, and perhaps that's the case.
I do miss him, I've got to admit. We'll finish up. A huge thanks to G, big fan of the show, cracking guy. He's donated to the channel. He says, Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for all your content throughout the year. That is very kind of you, G. Thank you very much for that. It means a lot, and hopefully you have a brilliant Christmas yourself, buddy. Hope you're well. I'm sure you will be after Sunday's result, and let's hope Rangers can continue that tonight against St Johnstone. Score prediction, Stevie, you're heading along to Ibrox later. Are Rangers going to keep that winning run going?
Yes, they will, and it'll be 4-0, Derek. Connor Goldson will finally score, people. It's going to happen. So at some point during the next 5 games, he'll score, and in my living room, I'll be like Marvin Andrews at Easter Road on Helicopter Sunday, giving it all that kind of stuff. But can I just say, Derek, I won't speak to anybody before Christmas and things like that. And Derek, I was at Ocean Colour Scene last night. They played the O2.
Wow, were they good?
They were incredible. It was jam-packed, you know that? And they just sounded like they did 25 years ago when I first seen them. And they were absolutely incredible then. I think I seen them at Tea in the Park in the 90s, Derek. I would have to go back and check that. But they were absolutely incredible. And in that, a couple of people came up to me, love what you do on the Rangers Review, love 4 Lads and stuff like that. And just our fan base, genuinely, it's very humbling. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for their continued support. And, you know, it's turned into a bit of a laugh now. People come up and say, love it when you're happy and you smile and all that kind of stuff, Derek. And I'll be happy and smiling when Rangers win. That's all I care about. And yeah, I might moan and kind of grumble a wee bit, but all I want to do is see our club win. And we're in a good place at the moment. So let's hope that continues. I want everybody to have a lovely Christmas, lovely New Year over the kind of festivities and stuff like that. And let's hope that Rangers keep winning. Big Belgian Phil, Derek. I might be quietly falling in love with him. So we'll see how that goes in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Brian's just signed up to your bite-sized pod as well, Steve. That's very kind of you, Brian.
It's free to do so, so please go and subscribe and do that. That would be lovely if people could do that. It helps me, and it means that when we go and try and get people to come on, we can say to them, yeah, we've got this amount of subscribers, you know, blah, 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 come and do a show, and people are more inclined to do it. So it's been great so far. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, super stuff. Right, folks, we'll wrap up there. As usual, we'll have all the pre-match and post-match reactions from Ibrox this evening. Well, we hope you can join us for that. If you can't, we'll be back again tomorrow morning, where hopefully we're reporting on another Rangers victory. But huge thanks to Stevie and to everyone for interacting with the show, and we'll speak to you a little later on.